You know, that is the general mood of the show today. This is quite a Monday, isn't it? Red Wings can't lose. Pistons can't lose. Tigers spending money. And Rico jinxing Michigan State basketball. No, I'm only kidding. We have a lot of ground to cover, so we're not going to waste time. I want to get into the Jack Flaherty stuff to start. Then I want to know what you're going to do when she's moved on. She is the Lions, and she's pregnant with someone else's baby, which means you better find something else to do with your time. It's called Red Wings, Tigers, Pistons, and who you're falling in love with. 4 o'clock, I'm going to offer you something I haven't heard all day on this station, a nuanced take about Luka Doncic. And we're going to party. Got an NBA blitz to do with major trades. We got a football blitz. A major superstar has demanded a trade. But I want to start with Flaherty because I think, bar none, this is Scott Harris's best movie he's ever made. And let me explain before people are like, well, wait a minute. Hear me out on something.
Wait, whoa. But I thought you hated Scott Harris.
I don't hate Scott Harris. I don't really like the way they choose to build their team. But with the Jack Flaherty move, Mr. Rico L. Beard, I think, it's a one-year deal. So don't get lost in the sauce. It's 25 in year 1, 10 in year 2 with a player option. If he's good, he's opting out. If he's bad, you're stuck with him. Risk it, biscuit. I'm good with it. If he's good but you're bad, you could trade him. And this is why I want to salute Scott Harris in this regard. The trading of Flaherty, which one person on this station, not affiliated with this show, had some weird nervous breakdown about. The point is, you got Sweeney and you got a top 100 prospect out of it, only to bring Jack back and not have to sign him to a 5-year deal. I said last week when we talked, I said, this pitching staff is not insulated enough. Remember we said, I don't ever want to look at pitching chaos.
Yeah.
Well, Maeda and Mize and Olsen, you're talking about injuries, Cobb. Mm-hmm. Getting Jack Flaherty back, you're running out in a 3-game set. You're running out Tarek and Jack Flash 1-2. This now allows Job to develop at a different curve. Mm-hmm. We'll see you middle of the season, Jackson. This allows for an injury. But here's the biggest thing for me. This is where I want to know if you, looking at you, Founders Day, you, looking at you, Kenneth, and you, yes, David, you, I'm looking at you, and you, the people. I think the Tigers actually graduated by doing this. Do you realize you have the top payroll in the AL Cialis, a.k.a. AL Central, right? The AL Flaccid? You have the top payroll now. Do you know with this signing you crack the top 20? You're sitting at 17th. You know my rules. If you don't have a league average payroll, you cannot win a World Series. Look, they're never going to do it the way I want to do it. So I can either sit here and be pissed, which I haven't done all offseason. I didn't love the Cobb thing, just on basis. I didn't have a problem with Torres. It's cheap. It's 1 year. Don't ask me to salute it, but it's fine. The Canely thing, I didn't have an issue with it. I sure as hell don't have an issue with Flaherty. Here's my thing. They're one move away from being a World Series caliber team. They're one move away payroll-wise. They're one move away with a bat. See, this is where I think if you brought in Bregman, as risky as it might be, I think all of a sudden Tiger fans, the light switch flips on and you go, we're winning the Central. That as fluky as last year was, and make no mistake, when things happen once every 50 years, it's a fluke.
Yes.
We're actually just good now. So, look, it's a tip of the cap. And again, if we're going to bitch when Chris doesn't spend, no, it's not the $200 million, Corbin Burns, Max Fried type thing. They're not going to do it that way. I've let it go. I can't do anything about it. But what I can tell you, they've gone out, they added Alex Cobb. Do I like him? Not really, but he's going to give you some innings. They added a reliever who's really good. They added one right-handed bat. And now they've added the guy I think they needed most, which was, who am I putting with Skubal?
Right.
So, look, for me, this makes this a solid B-plus offseason. And if they want to make it an A, we know what the move is. But I would love to hear from the people on this, because I think this absolutely puts you at the top of the Central. I think you got a better rotation than Cleveland. I think you got a better ball club than Cleveland. And I'm not holding this against you, but you're very lucky The rest of this division can't get it up. And whether it's Minnesota, Kansas City, Cleveland, Chicago, none of them spend. None of them. They're all cheap dirtbags. So the fact is, you finally lifted a finger, top payroll in this whole deal.
So B+.
I think this upgrades it from a C+ to a B+. Jack Flaherty was a borderline Cy Young candidate here. Is it risky? Absolutely. But it's 1 year. Right, mitigated it.
We're splitting hairs. I would have probably went a B, but B+. All right. No, I like it because you know what? Finally, you always hear, well, if you make the trade and they're free agents, you could always bring them back. Well, they actually did that. They got prospects from the Dodgers. One ended up becoming your starting shortstop because Javi just kind of had to go get himself healthy for the season. You got a top prospect, like you said, and you actually brought him back. So it kind of looked like, I know it doesn't happen that often, like you won the deal over the Dodgers.
100% you did.
You rented out a player to them, and then you got that player back.
And you got a prospect who's flippable. You got a shortstop who's playable. I love it. I really do. And I think it elevates you to the top of the AL Central. Would I love to sit here and go get me Alex Bregman? Yes, here's the problem. As I have said all offseason, and I will not have my words misconstrued, I'm not offering him 5, 6, 7 years. I just can't do it. And do I have concerns about Bregman? Of course I do.
See, after what you said the other day, I would even do this short-term Pete Alonso deal.
I wish. I know, and he's got holes in his game. But they're one right-handed thunder bat.
But you know what? This team has holes. Let's just be real.
I agree with you totally.
Okay, so there's no perfect person out there, and if it is, you're not willing to spend the money to get it. So if you are going to piecemeal, you're doing a good job piecemealing. You just, as you said, need another bat.
And again, maybe it's something they address at the deadline. Maybe a young player steps forward. I'm leaving open the world of possibility because here's the deal. On a game-in, game-out basis, Rico, I truly mean this, you're going to be sending out a better pitcher and a better plan than the teams you face. And you're in the flaccid Central.
Right.
Let's call it what it is now. So I loved it. And clearly you guys are hyped. Whoa. Kenny can barely keep up with the calls. I mean, wow.
Because there's nothing to complain. No. And I think it's because there's nothing to complain about. Because we would love.
Why can't you just be happy?
Because that's not how things work with people, Mike. If we were out here bashing Scott Harris, phone lines would be, oh, well, he's an idiot. He's this, he's that.
But he's never been that. I just don't think he wants to do it a different way.
Guess what, guys? This worked. It was a win-win. The Dodgers got what they wanted out of it. And then they said, you can have him back now, Detroit, if you want.
Right, you still made the playoffs. You got a prospect.
We got our ring. You can have him back.
And now you re-signed the player.
Yeah.
I believe the Tigers are the favorite in the Central with the move. Yes, I would love to see them add a bat, but I don't want to push my luck. But
no, I do. I need some certainty with Skubal. Maybe that's just me.
Good luck.
I just would like to know you have a plan and it's not, we'll just figure it out later. That never works.
See, but while I also want to bat, I'm excited about what the Flaherty signing does. And what it does is it pushes Olsen down in the rotation. It pushes Cobb down in the rotation.
That's right.
And now helps, and we don't have to rely on pitching chaos anymore. That's what I'm excited about because you're right. I do want to bat. Yes, I do in the end want to bat. But I have to be excited for what we have right now, which is bringing Flaherty back is big to me.
And you know what, David? You're right. Pitching chaos can now go back to Getaway Thursdays where – you know what? We're just going to kind of throw everybody out there. We're going to clean out the refrigerator and see what can happen. You give me 2 innings. You give me a couple of innings. And let's see if we can win this thing.
And I'm just going to say it. Don't take this that like, oh, you're letting the team off the hook. Guys, Bregman's not a perfect player. You have to understand. Like I will yell about certain things. It's why I didn't yell about Chapman or yell about Cody Bellinger. I mean, did I want one of those guys? I would have been happy with it. Sure. But these are imperfect players. So I don't want them to sign a bad deal just to make me feel better. Now, I never believe you can go into an offseason and do nothing. Well, they haven't done that. They've added things. And I would love to do it, but you got to be careful. I mean, it's a guy who, look, just one thing that scares me with Bregman, the ballpark. That's one. 2, You got to explain a 50% reduction in walk rate. That just, how did it fall off the table? One thing Bregman's always been good about is getting you 100 walks a year. How did that happen?
I'm hoping that's an anomaly. I'm hoping that's a one-off.
And again, I'm just bringing up, and again,
Mike, it's a legitimate gripe.
The power thing. Look, I don't think as he ages, he's going to continue hitting 28, 30 homers. This is probably a guy profiling closer to 20. So just, you got to be careful about it. Is he a pro? Does he give good at bats? Does he know Hinch? Does he understand what winning is? All of the above.
I'm hoping that because he knew what this offseason was going to be, that maybe he bought into the fact I need to try to hit more home runs, and he was more aggressive at the plate, which is why he didn't get the walks. That once he gets his money, he'll go back to being who he was, and you'll see the walk rate go back to where water will find its level.
248-539-9797. The excitement is palpable. You know what? Maybe you're right. Maybe I should have just opened with Luka. Has nothing to do with Detroit, but maybe it would have been a better way out.
There's no right or wrong.
I feel pretty wrong right now, I got to tell you. I was actually amped up about the Jack Flaherty thing.
As you have a right to be.
I feel like a horse's ass. I mean, what, did they sign a dead guy? Did Jack fall down the stairs signing the deal? What happened here?
Oh, dude, we had a great discussion. And we're still having a good discussion. And you know what?
Hey, here's my message to everybody. Your baseball team spent some money. Where is it? How's your mom? Well, we'll get to
Okay.
we'll get to the. I'd say we'd get to the people, but
there's people. We got ticket text. We got a ton of ticket text.
The baseball team just blew $25 million on an arm. I think that's going to put him at the top of the Central. Maybe we should have opened up with Tater Tot Day. All right. We'll get to David. We'll see how his weekend was. 97.
Crispy tater tot. All right.
This town.
All right.
Woo!
Got it out your system?
Yeah.
All right.